The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to LoveLight-Sound Radio, aligning and consciously creating your life with host Suzanna Jamieson on Transformation Talk Radio. Follow Suzanna as she channels dynamic frequency encodings of sound and light that initiate clearing, activation, balancing, and alignment with a new vibration of well-being. Allow your higher vibrational self to unfold on LoveLight-Sound Radio. Transformation happens here now.
Wow. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Pat. And just so you know, I get to co-host with Suzanna Jamieson. And I am so thrilled that I get to do that. You know, she and I connect at least once a month. For those of you that are thinking, well, wait a minute, I got the podcast over here, I got it playing over here. That's because every word we speak gets distributed 90 different places minimally. I'm not even including the 25 channels in Australia. But the point is this. Both of us had a vision to help people worldwide. And it's interesting how things show up. You know, this is, for all of you, a way to get to understand and experience LoveLight-Sound Radio, get to understand what Love Light is, get to understand what the light, this initiation is about, and that we allow ourselves to make deep, rich, lasting transformational changes. Because the one thing that I know is when you think at Suzanna and you look at, the years as, somebody that is out in the holistic arena, or whether you know her as certified classic homeopath or holistic intuitive, all of the above. The bottom line is that she's called to bring a new energy, a new vibration, a new attraction, and definitely a new modality of love, light, and sound healing for everybody. So if you're thinking, wait a minute, I've got post-traumatic stress disorder, or I've got something that nobody has been able to help me with, I want to say that today we're talking about number 2 of the 5 shifts, making this is cool, making not me, but you, making you your top priority. Wow, this is a tough one. Suzanna, this is a tough one. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's like there's so much charge to this, right? Because, and I love the way you introduce it. It's like, it's like even the fact of stumbling over, like, what? Like making you your top priority? It's like kind of what? Wait, because it's so, in my experience, it's so deeply ingrained in us, and also the way we've been raised or trained by society. And we've touched on this on the last episode, right, to a certain extent, that it's just not cool to be, make you your top priority. It's selfish, right? I mean, who do you think you are? And it's self-sacrificing is the way to go. And, for some of us who have had even, exposure to some more religious beliefs or systems or something that can be even more ingrained, and there's no judgment here. It's just an observation how some systems work or how they can influence us. And, sometimes it doesn't take religion. It just takes like a certain dynamic in the household, a certain overbearing, parent in whatever shape or form. Some call them narcissists, or, we can have all kinds of labels. And what it comes down to is the personal experience we're taking away from that, right? No matter how other people show up or what our experience has been in our lives. And I do want to reiterate in that context again that when I'm talking about trauma, it doesn't have to be like the massively abusive, like physically violent, sexually abusive kind of trauma. Like sometimes in someone very sensitive, just neglect can do the trick. That's all it takes. Or, having that sense of not being cared for, or being, whatever that is. And obviously we have range here, right? We have a variety of what people's individual experiences are. And I just want to point out that I do hold all of this. I don't have like a specific focus on what trauma needs to look like for someone. For me, it's more about how is it impacting your life today, right?
I want to be really clear about this because, you know, in the world we live in, and this is something that you're so amazing at, is that you don't classify people and put them in a box. And in our society, and, you know, need I say in the profession that I went to school for, is that was what we were trained to do. You know, there's a reason I don't practice this. We were trained to look at somebody, take a few notes and say, you're this. Now, I think there is a role for that to play in our society. There's definitely a role for it to play, given the way we're set up here, in order for people to get help. But this first thing we're talking about here is we're trained to not be selfish. This training to a fault allows us to not take care of ourselves, to not put ourselves first. I mean, even when you're going on the airplane and they're giving you that instruction and they're saying, okay, listen here, folks, you see this child sitting next to you, right? Or you see your mom or somebody, listen, do yourself a favor. Don't put their mask on first. Put your mask on first. Because in order for us to be there for others, you have to be able to breathe in the oxygen of life. And that's what we're talking about today. We have to be able to breathe. I said to somebody, you know, people say, how busy are you? And I say, you know, I don't like the word busy. I said, you know, I'm creating something with an amazing team of people. And we've been working on it. And so all hands on deck, we're all in to get it done. But on Wednesdays, if you look at my calendar in the afternoon, thanks to you, Suzanna Jamieson is like, she's going to get the credit for this. Thanks to you, it's blocked out where I actually don't work. And I go play table tennis. Are you clapping? Please talk to the rest of the team.
Yes.
I have to do that, Suzanna, because I wake at 5 a.m. I'm on the computer. I'm talking to India. I'm talking to Pakistan. I'm at 9 o'clock at night. All these folks internationally are working. What is the consequence of us not taking care of ourselves and putting ourselves first?
Yeah, and you know, as I'm taking this in, for one, it makes me crack up, and for the other, like the next immediate thought is like, why only Wednesday afternoons, right? So I'm like,
okay, Saturday. But wait, I really expanded. I go late Wednesdays, like today. Right. I was supposed to leave at 2:30. I'm not because we're busy, so I'm going to leave later. Right. But I play Saturdays and I coach and help people on Sundays. So this is my joy.
Right.
Other than go to a movie here or there, I am working all the other time, all the week, because I love what I'm doing.
That is that is very palpable, you know, that you love what you're doing. There's no question in that. And just notice that tinge of justification.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like, yes, I love what I do.
Are you kidding?
I'm at 5, you know, I work until blah, blah, blah. And that's just how, I just love that you're so authentic in that, Pat. And that's what I love about your work, you know, because the thing is, that's what happens, right? And that's exactly, it's this kind of two-edged thing that is so tricky with self-love, or, you know, making you yourself priority. And a big issue around this is like, the question is, what is your underlying motivation for giving? You know, when you have this kind of, you know, I need to give, I need to, you know, self-sacrifice, I need to, you know, this tendency to overgive. Whereas, like, yes, we're coming from our heart. You know, we have that natural inclination to be coming from our hearts. There is no question around that. Right? We do when we're loving, when we're coming from a heart space, of course we do want to give. right? But then there is this, the second part, if we're not coming out of a motivation of fully loving ourselves first, in my experience, there usually is a price tag attached to that, whatever we're giving. It's like,
there is.
You know, we give, but it's like, it comes with, are you going to love me back? Did you see me? You know, they didn't even appreciate me. It's like, here I'm doing all of this, and, you know, they didn't even appreciate me. So it's like, right? It's like, I wasn't, you know, I didn't get the kudos. You know, I was putting myself all out. You know, I made this huge party. I made it happen for everyone. I bent over backwards. You know, went through extra expenses. No one asked me. No one participated. No one saw me. I mean, right? And
totally.
And so this is the thing, though. It's like, you know, when we're not coming from a space of fullness, that is what it really is. Because, you know, with the reaching out external and trying to get the kudos, trying to get the appreciation, trying to get the love, for one, it's exhausting, right?
It's exhausting, and it's never enough.
No,
you can never get enough.
Exactly. That is
right?
one. Yeah, because
if you're not going to go play table tennis, then okay, right. Can you do that? This is tough, man. I don't know, like, if it's different for men or for women. I mean, I don't know. I do know, though, my man friends, let me just call them that, they don't blink for a minute, right? They don't announce it. They don't ask permission. They don't. You know, they're very clear about, I'm just going to go play. I'm just going to go do this. You know, let's talk about this. Do you think it's harder for women than it is for men? Don't answer that until we come back. I don't know that it is. I think it's the same in a lot of ways. But it's harder for me to ask any of my man friends not to go do something that requires play on their part. And I noticed that with myself and other women, that if we just say, you know, let's not go do that today. Let's clean the house. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Winning at the game of money. Lynn Brown is now offering Full Spectrum Finance, a progressive 12-month program that will help you to navigate through the mechanics of financial expansion. Finally, a financial planner who looks at the full spectrum of money and abundance. Engage you in the mental, physical, and energetic aspects of finance. This is Full Spectrum Finance. Are you ready to get into it? For more information, go to fullspectrumfinance.com.
How would you like increased health and vitality? How would you like to avoid the onset of disease as well as slow the aging process? This is all possible through a simple, safe, and natural process. Every day we are either moving toward wellness or away from wellness.
Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack. I'd like to be your partner in achieving optimal health. Contact me now at maryjanemack.com or call 425-392-0659. Visit maryjanemack.com.
Best-selling author, spiritual life, and business coach Joe Nunziata brings his higher energy and no-nonsense style to people who are ready to make powerful changes now. Wake up, step up, power up with a shot of Joe. Join Joe the second and fourth Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern for 30 minutes of high energy, no nonsense, and powerful tools to make powerful changes. Visit joenuns.com. That's JOENUNZ.com.
Your happiness is your choice on Natural Peace Radio. Follow Sarah Van Ryswick as she addresses the power of emotions. Each month, Sarah covers different topics as she helps listeners activate their energetic spark and create powerful energy and amazing opportunities. Manifest your desires with Natural Peace Radio. For more information on Sarah and her work, visit naturalpeaceliving.com.
Ignite your inner magic on Grow Your Soul Radio with Jane Matanga. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio as host Jane Matanga explores how to overcome your fears to help you gain the inspiration you need to awaken your path to joy. Learn the way to life mastery and the enlightened path with Grow Your Soul Radio. For more information on Jane Matanga and her work, visit enlightened-path.com.
Hi, this is Laura Richer, host of On the Verge Radio. Sometimes you hear encouraging messages like transform your life now, become empowered, create the life you crave, and it all seems overwhelming and you're not sure where to start. I'm here to tell you that self-improvement is not always fun and easy, but it is always worth it. The path to creating positive changes begins with releasing the things that have been holding you back. Then you can create a life that inspires you. I know this because I've done it. You can find out more about what I do by visiting my website, seattlehealinghypnosis.com. I look forward to supporting you on your journey.
Hey everyone, welcome back. And really kind of cool. This is LoveLight-Sound Radio with Suzanna Jamieson joining me here today. I'm Dr. Pat. The show in itself is about aligning, balancing, and consciously creating your life. Now today, thank goodness for Suzanna and what she's doing, because this is number 2 of the 5 shifts you have to make. And I say have to make because this is a have to make one for me. And it's making you your top priority. See, even in the conversation, I stumbled upon the title when I first introduced it, right? Because, and I prepare for shows. It isn't that. The idea of making me my top priority has to be without justification. And you are very kind to kind of go back and point that out. But there is this idea of desires. And I said something to you during the break. I said, I have some people, in my friend circle that if you ask them what they want, even over breakfast or dinner, what would you like? They don't know. And I have a feeling it's because so often we're not used to putting ourselves first. And I would like you to talk about desires. I don't think that we have been groomed to have desires it pretty much in our life.
Well, I love that you're pointing that out, and I feel it's something that is hidden in this whole aspect also of selfishness or making me my top priority, as you're pointing out. It's like that, as we kind of touched on the last show with the disconnect, since you're trained out of, being connected with what you really want, with your emotions, and in that also with your desires in the moment. Like as a child, you're like full out playful and exuberant, and then it's just not acceptable and you're kind of reined in or limited or, not now, or just, be done with this or be quiet or whatever. So in a way, we're kind of also trained out of being able to express our desires, and that can be all kinds of desires, and in that losing touch with what that actually is, and losing touch out of that with our creative expression, right? With our creativity, because obviously creativity is informed out of the context, out of the connection with our true desires. Now, what it does lead to, in my experience, is some kind of undercurrent of guilt and shame. And I love the example you're giving, Pat, because it's so subtle. It's like here you are with friends in a setting, right? And like you're asking, what do you want? And like the party not being able to express that truthfully because, maybe I'm like, I don't want to make a fuss, I don't want to be a burden, I don't want her to go to any trouble, or whatever that might be. So it's like, I'm not even going to check in with what I want, right? It's
yeah. And what if what I want is not what you want?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's a whole different thing.
Oh boy.
But boy. But let's just take it like one step further. Let's say, as your friend, obviously, I love you as a friend, and I want what's best for you. Now, it would be my heart's desire in that moment to give you that. And so basically you're stifling my expression of love by not being able to speak your truth in the moment, by shrinking into, taking yourself back, collapsing into, I better not go there. I don't want to make a fuss. I don't want to, bother her or something. Now, I would love to give you that. And so I can't express that love because you're not meeting me in that exchange. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And, it brings up a really important point. We talk about authenticity almost everywhere. The question I want to ask you is, are we in alignment with our truth by doing that? Are we in alignment? And, I think it's a very important question because everything we know now about energy and alignment is that the universe, let's just call it the universe, aligns not just with our words, but aligns with the energy of us. And someone said to me a couple years ago, they said, Pat, if you don't get clear about what you want, the universe is going to be confused. And one or two things will happen. You'll either get more confusion or you'll get that thing which you don't want because the energy of what you're asking for isn't clear. And yet at the same time, I was clear. I was afraid to say it. Let's talk about what happens when we're out of alignment with our truth.
Yeah, it's in my experience, Pat, and I love that you say that and the way you introduce it. It's like, in my experience, if we're not in a place that we can speak our truth, we're actually cheating the other person, let's say, or everyone else out of our true expression, don't we? And there is also like, often what I find, what I found is like in relationships, there is this thing running, the other person says they love me, so they should be able to read my mind. They should know what I want. This kind of expectation, like everyone else is psychic on cue because they kind of profess they love me at one point. So then they should know, right?
Right.
And so, and as if that would kind of free us from that, let's say, responsibility to take care of ourselves and our desires and what is true for us in the moment, right? And then we know, like, we're blaming it on the other if they didn't get us, right? They didn't get us what we really wanted. So we're saying one thing, and then basically we're saying no, but actually we do want them to override that no because they still want to do it, and they just take us by our word. And so then we're surprised that they don't get us. So let's just cut the chase, and let's just, why not just say what we want?
Let's get to it, because then we can avoid resentment. So resentment is like the number one offender. Let's just be very clear. Everybody out there is like, no, it's fear. No, here's what I think. Resentment. And resentment shows up whenever we want a thing and we haven't been able to resolve it energetically within ourselves, meaning, we ask for $1 million, we don't get it, and we say one or two things. Okay, spirit, God, energy, universe, I understand this is not for me now. I mean, you could say that, or you could say, there you go again, I didn't get it, but the dude from Alabama got it, and like, why did he deserve? Now, I'm giving an exaggeration, but maybe not. Mm-hmm. But parts of our lives in what you just explained is, if I sacrifice myself for you and you don't get that I'm sacrificing myself, I am not going to be happy. Because there's a thing we want, but we are lying to ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm. And it is at times it can be a very fine line. It can be very tricky. Let's say if you're a parent, obviously you love your kid, and there are certain times in your lives where your baby child is completely dependent on you. So there it's like, okay, you signed up for that one, right? So you might, it might not always be easy, but here's that little one, and you're going to take care of it. That's just how it is. And, fortunately, usually nature has equipped us in a way that we're capable of dealing with all the sleepless nights and whatever. But at one point, as we're growing out of this, there is that transition into, there's more like independence coming, and then the part of letting go, and then still the expectation of the other party meeting me on cue without my having to express it. And then it's like, if they don't, then it's like kind of the resentment that you're mentioning, you know, and especially like in intimate relationships, or not even I'm hearing a lot also like, you know, adults now, they are in a place that they feel they have to take care of their parents. Huge one, you know, and yes, do we want to take care of our parents? Yes. And then, you know, where are we self-sacrificing our lives, like putting us in a space that we're not sustainable anymore for the other, you know, and just wondering, you know, where there is, and noticing the resentment out of like, yeah, I got to do it. No one else is doing it, you know, and so, you know, it's on me.
It's on me. Yeah. And, you know, part of this too is other people's feelings. And we're going to talk about that when we come back. You know, we're going to talk about this idea of self-sacrifice, why it's not really noble, you know, why it's not really serving anyone, but we continue to think it is. Only in the end, what I call the double helix of disappointment, the original self-sacrifice, and then the doubling of the self-sacrifice, because nobody else is recognizing that you just sacrificed. So you don't get any of what you want. And right. People go on with their lives. What are we going to do about that? Is today the day, Suzanna, that we look at this closely and try something new out? I would encourage everybody listening today, you know, when you're getting ready to do something today that you don't want to do really, and I'm not talking about taking care of your mom or something like that. I'm just thinking about, can you at least get in touch with the truth of what you want? Even if today you decide not to do it. Little baby step, right? Yeah. Right, Suzanna? At least get in touch and say to yourself, yeah, I really don't want to stay here at work for another 16 hours when I could be playing table tennis this afternoon. Oh, boy. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Have you ever wondered if there's a way to heal the deep, hidden inner issues, wounds, beliefs, and traumas? The journey into spiritual healing engages people in all areas of their lives to heal themselves and others. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio as Dr. Jaffe brings conversations of healing of body, mind, and spirit as he merges the excellence of traditional medicine with the beauty of spiritual healing. For more information about Dr. Jaffe, this show, and his work, visit drjaffemd.com.
Are you searching? Looking for a sign? A message you need to hear? From the great unknown, from the most mysterious place that is the most familiar to your soul in the depths of who you are. The universe put someone here to talk to, someone God gave a blessing to, that you may find insight with. TheAngelLady.net. 1-800-323-1790. 1-800-323-1790.
Defining success and putting minds to work. With the Higher Learners Career and Leadership Series, Rudy Racine will help you craft your personal definition of success, offering support and guidance as you move forward towards your goals. Take the leap. With the right mix of focus and motivation, anything can be achieved. Tune in every first and third Monday at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 Eastern, and for more information on Rudy Racine and Higher Learners, visit Rudy's site at higherlearners.com. That's HIRE learners.com.
Be you plus live your purpose equals joy. That's the motto of Unstuck Joy with Vicki Todd. Vicki believes you were born with gifts that are meant to make the world brighter. Each show will feature an art visioning journal prompt to help you create your way to soul clarity. If you're ready to get unstuck and create more joy, this show is for you.
Tune in the first and third Tuesday at 3 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information, visit VickiWorldArt.com.
The Janice Underwood Show, helping you create the life you want, not the life you tolerate. Tune in each Monday, 9 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio as Janice delves into the Life Creator System and the next step in your spiritual evolution. Janice Underwood is gifted at helping spiritually minded people shift their mindsets to unleash the creator within. Our souls wish to wake us up. Those of us listening hear the call. Do you? For more information, visit JaniceUnderwood.com.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show, Talk Radio to Thrive By. I am so thrilled to be talking to all of you. We have got talk radio for all of us. Are you ready and willing and able to accept all of the abundance you can muster up in your life? Check us out, thedrpatshow.com, transformationtalkradio.com, transformationradio.fm. Oh my goodness.
Welcome back, everyone. Before we talk about self-sacrifice, Suzanna, also, what is the best way for people to find out more about you? But more importantly, how can they work with you?
Thanks for bringing this up, Pat. And personally, I feel the best way to find out if working with me is in your best interest is to go to my website, SuzannaJamieson.com. And on the homepage, there is a free workshop I'm offering. So you're welcome to register for that. It's a gift. And it kind of explains a bit more where I'm coming from in my work. And if that resonates with you, you have the option to book a call with me that is complimentary. And I highly recommend you check this out for yourself. So that's a good way.
Mm-hmm. Boy. I mean, I can feel going on now. We may need to do a little clearing or something here today because I think we hit upon something. And it's really subtle. I mean, I think we're given some really, obvious examples, but it's very, very subtle. And it's not so subtle when we're all thinking about, maybe one time I decide to eat a hamburger today because that's what, my life partner, that's what my life partner wanted me to eat, a hamburger today. Maybe it's okay if I eat a hamburger today, but even though my partner knows I don't eat meat, eat meat, but I got served my hamburger. So here's what I want to say. Why would we eat a hamburger if we don't eat meat? Now, I'm not that person, but it's one example. How many little things, when you add them up in a day, equal a resentment? But there's a lot of energy that I'm feeling, Suzanna, right now, that I think we need to really remove some judgment here of ourselves, but also others. And I think it's this sense that, wow, they're talking about stuff that I don't know what to do with. And when you don't know what to do to make a change, we get weighed down and heavy. What do you think?
We get weighed down and heavy, yes. And it really comes back for me, Pat, to the disconnect.
Yes.
If I'm in touch with myself and I honor my truth in the moment, last week's shift, and I make myself my top priority, I'm not going to go out of integrity, which is a huge aspect of that, isn't it? The authenticity and the integrity. I'm not going to go out of this to please someone else, and diminish my expression in that. There's an aspect of that of, wanting to please someone else because we love them, because we're coming from love, including, it's my heart's desire, like that space I'm coming from in that moment is my heart's desire to be there for this person, to hold that space for them in that moment, to serve them in that way, to hold presence with them, to just lovingly interact with them, to give them of me, of my true expression in the moment, versus I'm doing something to please someone because I'm coming from fear of, if I don't do it, I'm going to be rejected. If I don't do this, they're not going to like me anymore. They're not going to appreciate me. I might lose them. They might withdraw, so I have to show up. So I have to do something versus I'd love to do it. I'd absolutely love to. I mean, nothing can hold me from having this, yes, I do want to give versus oh my gosh, I got to do this because if I don't, who knows what's going to happen. Right. And that is basically the energetic, check-in I want to invite into. It's how is my expression informed? How is the way I show up and interact with others in whatever way, shape, or form? Family, friends, intimate relationship, work relationship. What is the underlying motivation? Am I coming from love or am I coming from fear? Right? And that's.
Boy, and let's be clear about fear for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
When we say fear, we're not talking about you facing a bear that's in your front lawn with this big old claws up in your face. We could be talking about, I'm afraid I'm going to be rejected. Mm-hmm. I'm afraid I'm not going to be loved. I'm afraid I'm going to fail. I'm afraid that I'll hurt somebody else's feelings. I'm afraid that I'll never be invited to do this again. Mm-hmm. I'm afraid that no matter what I do, I will do something that is not right for whomever I'm with. I'm afraid that no matter how hard I work, I'm never going to get the raise that I wanted. So I better do this other thing for my boss. Yeah, I'm afraid A, B, C, D, E, F, G, whatever that is. Mm-hmm. And yes, of course, there are some major fears. For those of us that have experienced trauma, I had trauma as a child. Mm-hmm. For those of us, there may be some other things we have to work out, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as I'm taking this in, what you're saying, Pat, totally right. And obviously, there are moments in your life where it's just an intelligent action requires that you still maybe comply or conform in a certain scenario that, and then just notice the difference of coming from an empowered space of I'm choosing to do this right now because, it serves my situation and it serves me in the bigger picture and I'm not harming anyone versus being completely freaked out about, what could potentially be happening. And that space of anxiety usually prevents me from taking intelligent action because I'm energetically in this kind of freeze mode of kind of trapped. It's I don't know I don't know what to do next. It's tunnel vision. It's very limited. It's very narrow. The experience I'm having in that moment when I'm in that fear mode, and options are not available to me. It's because I'm restricted by fear, versus coming up from a space of oh, okay, I'm noticing this is not working for me. And what intelligent action can I take coming from a space of I honor my experience. I love myself. I know what is conducive for me, right? And I honor that. I want to, love myself enough that I know I want to move in a direction that's conducive for my highest expression. And so what does that look like? And what intelligent and constructive action can I take in order to align it with this truth, right?
Yeah. And in the moment, we're looking at in the moment all of those emotions you just described that come from those events. Mm-hmm. And, you and I are here today because this has shown up in our own lives. Mm-hmm. And you have a way that you can help people. But more importantly, I think for those of you listening, we want to honor you in this journey. And, we see you. We know what this is like for you. And we want you to know that there is help. That's the work that you do, Suzanna, is to help people in the process of whatever they're going with. And especially if the struggle really is about putting you as a priority, putting yourself as a priority. It doesn't mean you don't love your children. It doesn't mean you don't love your community or your friends or family, does it?
Right. No, absolutely. And that's a really big one, Pat, and I love that you're bringing it up. It's like, taking care of yourself first allows you to come from a very different space of fullness, that you actually have something to give versus running yourself ragged or empty, so that there is nothing to give. So, when you compare the two, in your interactions with others or community, are the others better served when you're coming from full or from empty, right? Mm-hmm. And so, is that misconception or that idea that, if I'm putting myself first, I'm like selfish, and then I don't care about others. Now, in my experience, the complete opposite is true. It's like I care even more about others because I'm taken care of. Yeah. Because it doesn't have the price tag. Yeah. It's not conditional.
Yeah. And I think we're going to go ahead and skip this break because this is so important to talk about. I want to make a statement, and this is really a challenge for me. I can demonstrate my love for another or my caring for my job or my project. I can demonstrate that very simply by taking better care of myself, by putting myself as a priority. Because if I am fit spiritually, emotionally, and physically, I can show up.
Yeah, and that's exactly, it's like taking care of yourself. It's like when you take these Wednesday afternoons, Pat, and you love to play table tennis and you love to kick ass with the boys. It's amazing. Like a lot of people don't know that about you, but I just love it. And Pat is really competitive, and I mean she's a badass around the ping pong table. So let me tell you, so I love that that spirit. But just notice how it raises your energy. How what it gives you to give yourself that. Yeah. It absolutely raises your energy. Now, as you said earlier, it's like, after that you're just raring to go, do some more work, right? Yeah. Because you're energized and you're full, right? And that's the space you want to be coming from in all your interactions, so in order to, and that's why I was jokingly also saying why only Wednesday afternoons, because the encouragement for me is to, it's like a part of the work I'm doing is balancing, right? Mm-hmm. It's about aligning, balancing and consciously creating your life. And so the balancing part is like, can I find moments here and there throughout the day where I can fill my cup?
How can you help the folks listening today and I know I can feel the audience completely resonating with what we're saying, but part of resonating, even myself and listening to you, there's still a part that's feeling a little guilty, a little something about it. How do we get rid of that? I mean, I don't think that we were meant to have guilt a part of our lives, but boy, does it show up around this issue.
Right. It certainly does. And it's certainly a complex way, the way I work. But one of the things we can do is energetically, align. If you want to do like a
let's do
brief,
it. Let's do it.
Just a brief.
Yeah. I think what I've learned from Suzanna and all of you have learned is, this is her mastery. This is how she helps us all align. Believe it or not, in the work that she does, what happens when we get aligned clearly opens us up for what we really desire. Thank you.
So what do you want to hold for this?
I want to hold us, honoring you as a priority in whatever way that looks and feels, without shame, without guilt, and without conditions.
Shono marona, shono yanoma, narayo eoma na, maro ayano sarayano, maharayano saro, yano manoharo, Yano sano maharayanaro maro yano sayo ma arano yano sa ma.
Well, I'll tell you one thing for sure. I will be playing table tennis today. I could feel that. Can we talk about it for a moment?
Sure.
I could feel that self-love, that alignment. I don't know if all of you can feel it. If you can, please go ahead in Facebook or even if you just want to just send us a message, let us know. I could feel that in my core, in my stomach, to the left of my belly button. And I thought, well, why? And I just found that so interesting to have that experience right there. Not like a pain thing, not like that, right? Mm-hmm. But just something moving there.
Yeah, it's interesting for me. It's really, part of me is not really there in a way. It's like it's really present and it's not really. So I was actually surprised a bit that it was so lively. There was a lot of, for me, I experienced it as a lot of joy and freedom, actually. So, I was like, oh, nice. And so what I found, Pat, is what is coming through is meeting the needs of whoever is taking it in the moment. And what I love about this particular modality is that it's dynamic. So it always is going to meet you where you're at. Like, let's say, this is your experience now, and it has shifted something in you, like you've had like a certain even physical experience with it, and maybe some release on one hand. Like if you were to listen to this again, and obviously it was a rather short thing, but it doesn't matter. It's like if you were to listen to this again, maybe in half an hour later or something, it's gonna meet you at this new shift, like what has already shifted, and then maybe something comes to you about like, oh, I really feel like I want to be doing this today.
Yeah.
And you can allow yourself to go for this. You know what I mean? So this is how this works. It's very subtle, and it's just aligning. And what I love about it is it's going straight to the heart. Mm-hmm. The mind is not engaged. Like you don't have to analyze it. You don't have to think about it. It's just it's just alignment.
Yeah. What I love about this and about today, especially, Suzanna, is, this is coming from this space of self-love. This is really, when we talk about the alignment, right? There is this time when we listen, and I do hope people will go back and listen. As a matter of fact, Carter, I want to ask Carter to pull it out so we can play it again, with some information about what it calls into play for us. But this is about this connection and alignment with the kindness that we could share with ourselves, right? We're so good maybe at being kind with other people, but being kind to ourselves is really a journey, isn't it?
Yeah, and what's coming here, as I'm taking in what you're saying, Pat, is that, the joy that I experience is like the complete opposite to the guilt and shame, right? It's this kind of bursting exuberance of like, yes, this is what I want my life to feel like. This is what I want it to look like, what I want it to feel like. And there is no guilt or blame or shame in that. It's just like, it's free in that. And I love that. So,
I want to talk, I know we've got a few minutes left. Mm-hmm. There is an ultimate freedom in our lives. See, we don't think so much about this particular ultimate freedom. I think a lot of times we go through life with contingencies on freedom that have to do with other people. Like, I'm going to feel free if ... my boss does this. I'm going to feel free once my kids leave the house. I'm going to feel free, if I can drive on a highway that has no traffic. But this freedom that you talk about, this freedom through self-love, connecting with yourself, honoring our truth, you talk about it, honoring our truth at all times, right? That's the alignment we're talking about today. But we're also saying, start somewhere today.
Start somewhere. And, again, lovely that you're bringing it up. It's like this notion of we have to be somewhere or get somewhere first before we can be happy, free, fulfilled, whatever. Yeah. Right. And really what my work is about is to allow yourself to be in that space every moment, no matter what around, no matter what is going on around you, no matter what the circumstances, and so that is what you pointed out. The ultimate freedom is like to be in a space to know yourself so intimately, to be connected to yourself so intimately, loving yourself so unconditionally, that you can allow yourself to access a space at any time.
Mm-hmm. Wow, what a great show today. And honestly, for us, you're inviting us to step into a place that perhaps many of us have not. Whether it's you've been thinking about getting that massage and you just haven't gotten to do it, or you've wanted to take 5 minutes out to go for a walk, all of the above. This is the day where you make that change and align to your truth. I have a question for you. Again, please tell folks how they can find out more about you, to talk about the free workshop, how they can connect with you personally, and then what's your personal message for today?
Yeah, so the best way to connect with me is at this point through my website. There. For one, I have also the info of the other radio shows on there. And on the homepage, there is a free gift, an invitation for a free workshop that gives you a bit more in-depth information about how I work. And if that resonates with you, I'd love to hear from you. And, if you feel called to book a session with me, please do so. They're complimentary. And there's access to that on my website also. Right. And so, the message for today, making you your top priority is basically kind of summing up what we said on this show and in the last passage about, allowing yourself to get to a space that you're so intimately connected with yourself that you can experience true freedom in any moment, no matter what.
Suzanna Jamieson, everyone. Suzanna, thank you so much for your special gifts and what you do in the world. You're amazing. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for helping me get to go play table tennis today.
Guilt-free.
Guilt-free, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Guilt-free.
Guilt-free table tennis.
Tuning us in and turning us on. And anybody out there want to play table tennis, give me a call. Thank you for tuning us in. For more information, if you missed any part of this, go to transformationtalkradio.com. Yep, it's going to air later. The archives will be up. Susanna, you rock. Thank you.
You did. Thanks so much.
We'll see you next time. Another hour coming up on Transformation Talk Radio. Yep, Dr. Friedman Schaub is in the house. We'll see you soon.
You've been listening to LoveLight-Sound Radio with Suzanna Jamieson on Transformation Talk Radio. Thank you for tuning in, and we hope you'll join us next month as Suzanna explores how to align, balance, and consciously create your life. For more information on Suzanna Jamieson and her work, or to listen to past shows, visit her website at SuzannaJamieson.com.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.